Next is Marc Ruby. Sure.
I think it's, is it Mr. Coleman, Rep. Coleman?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were hard to hear before. You were speaking.
Okay, well, we'll do our best. And I mean, also, if all of you, when you come up to testify, make sure you hit the red button in front of you, just like we're doing right now, just to make sure that you're recorded. Thank you.
My name is Marc Ruby from Hamden, and I consider SB 1094 an extreme unconstitutional anti-Second Amendment gun bill. SB 1094 seeks to ban both pistol and rifle magazines that hold over 10 rounds. The focus should be on the illegal guns and the criminals. This bill paints as criminals all gun owners who value their Second Amendment rights. If someone is intent on committing a criminal act, it will not matter if he has one 15-round magazine or two 10-round magazines. This thinking is severely flawed and purely anti-gun. Gun laws like this only affect the law-abiding gun owner. I do not understand such thinking, as law enforcement knows full well where the bulk of these shootings and criminal acts takes place. Even if these magazines were banned in Connecticut, they are readily available through mail order and surrounding states. Criminals will not be affected as usual. I ask, what is the point of this bill? As part of the 1994 assault weapons ban, the production of higher capacity magazines was halted. This gun control strategy soon proved to be a failure. There have been no mass shootings in Connecticut using such magazines to my knowledge. If both I and my family were attacked by multiple people in an invasion of my home, I would want as many shots as possible for defense. Do you remember the Cheshire home invasion? Since 2004, when the assault weapons ban sunsetted, most pistols and many rifles came stock with over 10-round magazines. So what is the law-abiding citizen to do now? Throw away his prized handgun and rifle that he greatly values? Connecticut, being once known as the most prolific gun manufacturing state in the country, now has the distinction of being one of the most restrictive states as far as gun laws are concerned. On the legal side, SB 1094 clearly violates the ex post facto law, meaning you cannot sell a legal item one week and declare it illegal the next. I ask you to vote down SB 1094.
Senator Kissel.
Thank you very much. Thank you for taking the time to come here this morning. Clearly you feel passionately about the Second Amendment, and I'm wondering what your position might be on Senate Bill 1096, the bill concerning criminal possession and seizure of firearm ammunition.
I'm not really that familiar with that legislation, with that bill. The ammunition, if there's no firearm involved, I imagine that the ammunition is of no value.
Right. The notion is that if you're by law prohibited from owning a firearm because, let's say, you're a convicted felon and you've lost that right, then what right do you have to ammunition? And many of us are concerned with Second Amendment rights and encroaching laws that impinge on those rights. And I understand clearly where you're coming from with the magazine bill, but I'm wondering if you might also have concerns regarding the ammunition bill, or if you don't.
I really don't, because the ammunition is useless without a firearm.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Representative Holder Winfield.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning. I have a question, and it's just because of the emails that I've been receiving, and they've kind of, to me, seem to go in two different directions. They don't seem to make sense when you put them together. So some of the emails I've received have said to me, this bill doesn't make sense because you could quickly reload, and so effectively there's no gain here. Then some of the other emails have said that what this would do is prevent people from being able to discharge their weapon because of the time it takes to reload. And so I guess if you could speak as a person who is concerned about what this bill might do, if you could speak about the notion of those two ideas and what's true in your mind.
What's true in my mind is, as I mentioned in my letter, the difference between having one 15-round magazine or two 10 rounds, as the previous person stated, you could change a magazine very, very quickly, and actually you would have more rounds. You would have 20 rounds instead of 15.
And so I guess the idea that you put forward about, and I recognize the importance of defending a home, I'm just trying to understand how this works in your mind. And so the idea that you put forward that it's problematic not to have 15 or whatever the number of rounds you would have if we didn't do this law, I don't understand how that becomes an issue if it's being put forward, at least through many of the emails and some of the testimony I've heard already, that this isn't a problem to move back and forth between the magazines.
It's not really a problem as far as I could see. Are you referring to defending my home?
I'm trying to actually understand what the arguments are people are making. So again, you in your testimony you talked about being able to discharge the weapon if someone were in your home, right? So my question is, does it have an effect on your ability to do so because of the rapidity with which you and others suggest? That's the question I'm asking. I'm just trying to get your perspective on it.
If I had multiple people attacking my home, and I had more rounds in my magazine, which I would prefer that than having a delay, a second or two delay in changing magazines.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any additional questions? Seeing none, thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you.